Is this a bad bait? Yo, if I don't land this bait, I need a bait again. Because they're definitely going to shield the second one. Okay. Did they shield this one? Wait, did they just swap something? Did I see that right? Oh! Oh no, dude. That's not good. Hey everyone, I hope the Unranked Cancel Cup is going well for you all. I have been using a team that's been really solid for me. So for those that are just trying to stack up some encounters and rewards from winning a lot of battles, this might be a good team for you. As you can see from the title, this team carried me onto a 13-0 streak, and I've been going pretty much positive in all my other sets as well. So the team I'm using is Mew, Shadow, Kanto Ninetales, and Shadow Lapras. You don't have to run the Shadow variants for these, but I personally like it a lot more because it really just adds up a lot of damage in neutral matchups. And Kanto Shadow Ninetales is just such a strong safe swap even when you don't have a great matchup. Before I get into battles, I will say that my elo for these battles were locked at 3600. I know most people might not be in that range, and I don't say this to brag, but it's more so the team comps you see in different elo ranges may vary. I will say that I haven't seen a single double charm team yet for this entire week, and so that probably lends itself to my elo range. So just something to keep in mind when you see some of these matchups. Okay, so going into this first matchup, going against a Nidoqueen. Obviously this is before it's getting its big buff, so Nidoqueen's going to be even stronger after this week. But yeah, definitely a pretty solid lead, and then they come in with a Magneton. So I'm going to shield the first one. It's probably going to be a discharge, and then I could tank another discharge, so I'm going to let the second one go. This Ninetales is not bad against Nidoqueen because you have the Psyshock, which can definitely do super effective. I might just go straight Weather Ball here though. But yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, they come in with Nidoqueen. You know, I'm going to go straight Weather Ball because it's neutral anyway, and they are quite low on health. And then, so I come in with my Lapras to just prevent a farm down. And then Lapras, you know, with a little bit energy lead, shields down is very solid, even against fighters, because it's just pretty bulky and it's able to dish out a decent amount of damage. It's going to be the Alolan Sandslash, not the Alolan Sandshrew that we see a lot on Twitter where they're sweeping whole teams. Which honestly is a little bit better for my team anyway, especially for the Mew, because it doesn't have the Night Slash. Able to finish off this Nidoqueen, and yeah, that's a good one. Alright, so speaking of Sandshrews, Alolan Sandshrews, here it is. Yeah, this bad boy is going to do a lot of damage. So I'm going to swap out after charging some energy there. Unfortunately, this is my best check to it, but Lapras is not bad because you're resisting the Power Snows, and again, Lapras is just so bulky, and Sandshrew just doesn't have enough hard-hitting moves to really take it out in one go. Most are probably running Blizzard with Night Slash. And as you can see, I did charge up with some energy on my Mew as well, so I'm going to just continue farming this down and swap to my Lapras to hopefully catch a Night Slash. And here comes the Night Slash. That's really solid to catch. And then here comes what do you call it? A Charm Ninetales. So I'm going to let this Weather Ball go. I am quite low here, but I'm hopeful that I could get to at least one more Surf, and I do. That's perfect. Able to really chip this down a little bit further. And actually even finishing off. I don't know if they just stopped attacking. I think they stopped attacking to farm extra, or I don't know. Maybe it was lag. Hard to say. But the Mew with energy from earlier is really going to help out here. So I just had to get to 2 more moves. They're going to start spamming these Night Slashes, but catching that Night Slash on my Lapras really helped a lot, right? Because now I didn't have to worry about shielding that first Night Slash, and then going straight for the Wild Charge here to take out the Sandshrew. So definitely not a great lead. I didn't have switch advantage throughout the entire matchup, but with enough energy management, you can still flip a lot of these matchups, right, that aren't very favorable. So speaking of unfavorable matchups here, yeah, Alolan Raticate, definitely really bad for my Mew. Not great for the whole team in general. I don't really have any strong checks to it, just a bunch of neutral checks in the back. So I'm going to shield this Aqua Tail and try to force a shield here against this Gyarados. I don't mind shields down here, and they actually don't shield. So again, that Shadow Kanto Ninetales is doing a lot of damage for neutral, right? Obviously Gyarados is a little bit on the Glacier end too, but still, that's usually a matchup that you would think that Gyarados would win, right? Obviously if they double shielded, that would be a different story. But this is good. Now I have the alignment I want. I am going to drop a Wild Charge just to do some chip damage on this Raticate, and then swap to my Lapras. A lot of times doing that chip damage with Mew and the swapping out can be really crucial in a lot of these close matchups. So this is just going to be a crunch, which I do survive. And And then this is the scary part. Now, obviously, if this Hypno is running Shadow Ball, I'm in a really tough spot. I'm also letting some confusions go through, which is not great. I'm just banking they don't have Shadow Ball. And, you know, obviously, this is only like game 3 or something, so there's no way I'm losing my streak here. But yeah, fortunately, able to get that Shadow Call through. Going against my buddy Arrow here. Something to note is most Shadow Hypnos in this meta aren't running Shadow Ball. I ran into one with Shadow Ball, but almost all the other ones are not running Shadow Ball. They're running double punches, which makes it a little bit safer to not shield their Mew, right? It's kind of the gamble you have to take sometimes. All right, so yeah, so Arrow goes for a bait right there with a cross chop. I don't shield. He's double shielded already. At this point, I'm going to let this go. Main reason is because he's probably loaded up on a second one. Yeah, so he's going to throw another one anyway. So I'd rather just get this extra energy on my Ninetales. And here he comes in with his own Ninetales. And I believe I shield this just in case it might be an overheat. Ends up being a weather ball. I know a lot are running overheat, so I'm going to over farm a little bit here, just so I could get another surf ready, because I don't want to get farmed down by the Machamp, right? Machamp has a decent amount of health left. So here comes the Machamp. It does come in here. And now I'm going to see what they have in the pack. It's a Galarian Rapidash. Definitely a spicy pick. So I go to my Kanto Ninetales. I actually thought he had a shield left, which is why I didn't throw. I have 2 other balls stacked up. I didn't throw a single one because I thought he had a shield left, and so I was just going fast move down. But luckily, it ended up working out anyway. So good games to him. Okay, yeah, definitely a terrible lead, Alolan Muk. But again, Shadow Kanto Ninetales is no joke. Even against a Machamp here, you're doing neutral, right? Obviously, if you land the Side Shock, that's going to one-shot the Machamp. But the Weather Ball's going to do a lot of damage, so they have to shield the Weather Balls too, right? So let's see if I can flip this matchup with a Weather Ball. So the double shield, that's fine. So I'm going to let this move go and come in with my Mew. And this is not even a Shadow Machamp, so I'm not too worried, right? Even if it's a Rock side, it's not going to hurt too much. And he actually switch locks himself into Alolan Marowak here, which Mew actually beats. So definitely good to know if you don't know that already. Especially with shields, right? With shields down, if they land, you know, a Shadow Ball, it can be kind of tough. But now I'm able to have a good matchup against this Muk and go straight for the Skull Bash to hopefully take it out. Yep. Okay, so there you see me claiming my first 5-0 set, yeah, no elo change obviously. All right, so definitely now getting a positive lead for once, which is nice. Again, dropping that wild charge and then dipping can be pretty crucial here. So they actually shield, which is totally fine. Now I'm going to shield probably because this might be a Sludge Wave. Ends up being just a Dark Pulse, but that's fine. This next one's probably going to be a Dark Pulse, so I'm going to let it go. And honestly, even if it was a Sludge Wave, Lapras would still survive, right? I now have a lot of energy in my Lapras, able to farm it down too, so this is huge. Okay, so now this is a non-Shadow Hypno. Very strong chance this Hypno is running Shadow Ball. Now the question is, do you want to shield the Mew or not, right? And personally for me, I think it's better not to shield anyway, because, oh, they actually go for a bait there. Because likely if they had Muk in the back, they have another Mew check, right? That's why they swapped out so quickly. But this is a very good spot for me to be in, even if shields were down. And then yeah, this is just going to finish off the Hypno here. I still have a shield, still have the Mew with more than half its health. Yeah, it's definitely a favorable matchup. Alright, so this is kind of a weird one. Shadow Zapdos definitely hits kind of hard, but it's also very glassy. So I'm going to fake the Wild Charge, and most Shadow Lapras probably shield everything. And so yeah, of course, that one shields. And I do go for a swap right here to catch a move here. They shielded too, which means that they're probably a little bit weaker to Mew in the back. Man, that was wild. Yeah, that Alakazam took me out before I could even get to oh man, before I could even get to the Fire Spin. And he goes for the Shadow Ball. Okay, so let's see what they have in the back. This puts me in a really bad spot. And then it's going to be the Zapdos. So I'm going to shield. They come in Zapdos and Lapras. They're quite weak to Lapras for some reason. And it's a Shadow Moltres. So definitely appreciate the spice that my opponent brought there, but definitely a tough one for them to come back from with Lapras in the back. So going against my buddy and my teammate Auburn. I kind of had a heads up on what he was playing because we were talking in our team chat, and he faced one of our other teammates ahead of time, and they're talking about how he had a Chansey. So this dude is running Hypno, XL Lickitung, and XL Chansey. Yeah, it's. I already knew in the back of my head, I was like, this is going to be a tough matchup. Luckily, I did have switch advantage with the Mew. So this is not too bad. I'm going to start chipping down this Hypno, and he does shield in case it's like an overheat, which is, I think, a solid shield. Doesn't have to shield the second one, obviously. And again, do I go for the shield here? I think I do. A Shadow Ball is going to hit a lot harder than most moves from a Chansey, so that's why I figured I want to keep my Mew fairly healthy. No point in really throwing the energy against the Chansey because it's so bulky. I'd rather save that energy for the Hypno. So going straight for the Skull Bash. Let's see how much this does. It's going to be a Hyper Beam. Still a good chunk against a Lapras, which is fairly bulky. It is a Shadow Lapras, but still fairly bulky. And it already had a 1 defense boost at that point. So he comes in with the Hypno here. I don't mind this at all, actually. I don't mind taking out this Hypno because now the Chansey has to throw Hyper Beam at this Mew. The Psychic's not going to be enough. Hyper Beam just takes way too long to get to. He smartly decides not to shield because otherwise it'd be too debuffed. But I'm in a really good spot at this point, going for that last Surf. And then still survives 2 Surfs. I think he just undercharged a Psychic, but yeah, able to finish out that one. So definitely an interesting one. Hopefully you all don't see too many chances because it could be a little rough. All right, so Lapras is kind of, or Dragonite is kind of a weird one. So I like to snipe it down with the Lapras if possible. And most actually do shield, but even then, if they let 1 or 2 Ice Shards go through from Shadow Lapras, it actually does a ton of damage. To the point where your Ninetales will have coverage for it, will be able to take it out later, potentially with just Weather Balls, even though Dragonite resists that fire damage, right? But this is a good spot for me to be in. I'm going to shield here. Yeah, and then let's see what happens next. I have a lot of energy loaded, right? So I'm going to go straight for Psy Shock right there. My opponent did a really neat swap by catching the move. So now I'm in kind of a tricky spot, to be honest, because they're up a shield. Let's see if he goes straight for the move or not. So I'm going to choose not to shield. Ends up being a Bone Club. So yeah, I just had to kind of call a bait there because I'm in a bad scenario already. So again, coming in here, I'm going to shield this one because they do have a decent amount of energy. Able to get to the Psy Shock though. That's decent for neutral and able to fire spin it down. So yeah, definitely a close one, but still have win cons against Dragon leads. Dragonair is probably even more annoying because it resists all of the charge moves, whereas Dragonite at least takes us neutral from the wild charge. Alright, so this is not a great matchup too, because this Electrode gets to Foul Place quite quickly, and you kind of have to shield all their moves, whereas they don't have to shield your first Surf. So I do go for a Catch right here, Catch or Foul Play, which is really nice, because it's going to do a lot less damage for neutral. They come in with the Alolan Muk. This is really good for me too, because I don't really want to see the Alolan Muk against my Mew. So against a loaded energy Ninetales, that's just pretty solid, right? Alright, so I'm going to let this move go, and probably just come with my Lapras. Lapras doesn't want to see the Electrode anyway. And I'm going to let this move go too, because the Electrode, as I recall, does have energy. I don't know if it has a move yet, but definitely has a lot of energy, right? I'm just going to, I'm not going to blind throw either, because I would lose the matchup versus the Electrode in CMP purposes, and fortunately able to snipe it down with a Shadow Claw. So here is another 5-0 set onto a 3-game win streak. Going against the 6'4 Ninja here. Yeah, this is kind of a interesting one. So definitely going to dip out with after dropping the Wild Charge here, and then we come in with the Lapras. This is a really good spot for me to be in, because this thing's not going to hit super hard. It does have Power Punch, but Power Punch is just not a very hard hitting move. And it does have the Crunch, but again, Lapras is bulky. No need to shield it. And here comes the Hypno again. Now, even if I lost swap there, I wouldn't mind it too much, because Hypno's not great against Ninetales either. So I'm going to come back in with the Mew. This is really good now, because I have a much better matchup against a Hitmonchan with Mew than I do with my Kanto Ninetales. So I'm hoping to tank this move. It is a non-Shadow Hitmonchan, so I figured I'd probably survive it. Do with just a little bit of health, and now I have a 2-shield Ninetales against a Hitmonchan with little health, and then a Hypno with almost no health. This is going to be really good for me, and then now able to just fire spin it down. Alright, another Hypno lead, always good. A lot of Hypno leads, which really helped this Mew lead for sure. AWAC leads also really solid. Fighter leads, yeah, I personally just like Mew in the lead quite a bit, especially in neutral matchups. You could just throw a move and dip, right? This, I think, is the optimal moveset. I did try running this team last season with Cancer Cup. I just never released a video on it. and it was with Flame Charge and Grass Knot, but I tend to like this one more. So my opponent just lets their Mew go, or their Hypno go. My guess is they didn't really have another check to Mew, so that's why they only had one check, which is why they had to come in with Lickitung, so that's why I swapped out. Even though I could just try and maintain switch advantage, but both Lapras and Ninetales are kind of neutral-ish against Lickitung, so I'd rather have this matchup here. Alright, I'm going to come in with my Lapras instead, just so I don't have to shield anything, because Mew is quite low on health, and I want to get a slight MG lead. And I'm going to shield this, but yeah, this is kind of a tough spot to be in. This Lickitung is still fairly bulky, and yeah, I come in with Mew, and what I'm going to try to do here is go to a Surf, but unfortunately I just miss it, so I'm actually playing with fire right now. Hoping that I survive this Body Slam. I do, which is nice, and then I Ice Shard down the Grimer, and Ice Shard down the Hypno. Alright, going against Wenko right here, definitely top battler on the leaderboards as well, and running into a really bad lead. But it's a Mew safe swap, and again, or counter swap. Kanto Ninetales is really good as a safe swap. As you can see here, it gives me a lot of chances of force double shields and also win switch, right? So I force double shields, so I could let this go, right? But I'd rather just win switch at this point, because my Ninetales is going to have a lot of play still against a Lickitung, and I really don't want my own Mew against their Mew, because they can still do a decent amount of damage in that matchup, right? So I come in, they come in Lickitung here, able to do a decent amount of damage. Almost got to another Weather Ball, but definitely throws right at the perfect time here. And then, yeah, this Power Whip is going to hurt, but it's non-stab from a bulky Lickitung. So I know I survive it, and then I'm going to throw the Surf right away. I have no idea what he has in the back at this point, but ends up being a Grass. I thought it was a Venusaur. It was actually a Shadow Victory Bell, which honestly, I'd rather see than a Venusaur. Because the Mew can actually do quite a bit of damage here and able to finish off the Shadow Victory Bell. Alright, Alolan Marowak lead. If you've been counting, this is actually game 14. So we know what happens on game 14. So going in here, maybe I could have baited. I think almost most Laprases do shield. I do have a shield advantage, even though I have an energy disadvantage. So I'll be able to shield one extra Skull Bash, whereas my opponent cannot. So that is a slight advantage I have. I decided to let the Skull Bash go. To be honest, looking back on it, I don't know why. I think I wanted a shield for the Mew, but the thing is, yeah, that might have been a bad play. So let's see how this plays out. And they get a lot of energy on that Lapras. That's bad. That's really bad. So I'm going to shield this, unfortunately. And maybe I should let the Mew go. Ends up being Alolan Raticate. This is not good for my team. Again, like I said, I don't really have a lot of checks to Alolan Raticate. And this is not a great matchup because Marowak is resisting all the fire spins, and they do have Shadow Bone and Bone Club, which both hit Shadow Ninetales kind of hard. And so I do get to another Psyshock right here, and I do take it out. But here's the thing, he just needs to double up on crunches, and I'm done for. My guess is the opponent is quite smart and doubled up on crunches, and I unfortunately did not have a move. Fortunately, actually, I did battle the same trainer like maybe an hour or two later, and so I actually did get a slight revenge because I knew the team comp too, so I ended up shielding that Skull Bash eventually, and then was able to maintain switch from there. That was my 13-0 run in Kanto Cup. As you can see, I claimed the last rewards. I actually went 4-1 still in that set, despite losing on the fourth set. But it's a really solid team, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for a team to just, you know, win a decent amount and get all the bonuses from winning and stuff. I hope you have a good rest of your Season 7. A lot of big changes are happening in Season 8, so definitely looking forward to some of those move updates, and let's see where we go from there. A big shout out and thank you to all my patrons for supporting my content creation. If you would like to also have access to some of my strategies and lineups ahead of time, or see behind the scenes battle footage, feel free to sign up in the link down below. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.